Anyway, hi guys, welcome to another video. I hate read this book on an entire 6-hour plane ride to Louisiana, and I hope that you enjoy this journey that we'll have together. This is by B.K. Borison, and it is inspired by Sleepless in Seattle, but this book kind of like reads like a gender flipped AU version of Sleepless in Seattle, and it doesn't work. Gender flipped. Okay, which I will get into. Mwah! All right, goodbye. So, if you don't know what Sleepless in Seattle is, it is a movie where we get this guy who recently lost his wife to cancer, kind of go through like this depression, grief, and all of that jazz. And his young son calls into a radio station. I think it's like a counselor or a psychologist or like just, I forget. But, he tells her, oh, my dad's really sad and all of that. And she's like, oh, I see, like, can we talk to your dad? And so, the dad talks about how much he misses his wife, how much he loved her, and how hard it is going through life without her. And this really emotionally resonates with a lot of women because they're like, oh my god, a man talking about his feelings and his emotions and like being very like open about it. That's crazy. And like, they swoon over him and it goes viral. Now, I'm going to read to you Lucy's interview. And I want you to think, is this something that would go viral in this day and age? Is this something that is even, dare I say it, newsworthy? We'll see. Let me read to you. Just to give a little bit of a little premise, we're only on page 30, by the way. This is our first time reading Lucy's point of view, first time like seeing her. And we just see that she's on the couch or she's taking a nap, I forget, and she is told by her daughter that she is very lonely and that she's sad and tired. Okay, and that's why she needs romance. She needs someone to like, jazz up her life or something. So we're told this, we don't see any of it. And this is the viral interview. She says, I don't want to try anymore. I'm always trying and I'm so tired. Why can't romance and dating be the one thing I don't have to try at? Why can't it be a thing that just happens? I want sparks. I want goosebumps. I want romance. I want the magic. I'm tired of trying so hard at something that comes so easily for everyone else. So she's tired of trying to be in a relationship or like trying to date or whatever. We don't see any evidence of this, and you're gonna like, this is what happens throughout the whole book. So we're not seeing any evidence of this happening. We're just told that she's tired. Other than that, she is a Mary Sue. She is the most perfect character who's wonderfully quirky and super sexy and is a mechanic and is a super mom, is best friends with her baby daddy and her baby daddy's husband, and all of this is just very like, everything in her life has gone perfectly except, we're told, her dating life. But I would like to have you guys think about this question as I'm going through this, and if you ever read this, is what is missing from her life that she needs romance? Not much, I'll tell you now. So that is the whole premise, the whole viral interview. And I'm gonna read to you like another section that kind of proves to you that this is a pick-me. This is a girl who is supposed to be perfect. They have this producer of the show tell her like, you just, you said stuff that people are scared to say. You said stuff that was vulnerable, that really resonated with a lot of people. And I'm sitting here going like, she didn't say anything that like, beautiful, but okay. I guess for the sake of this book, we have to pretend that every woman has never said she wants sparks and she wants magic in a romance in a relationship. We're gonna pretend that is not gonna happen. That didn't happen, and she's the first one to say it. So okay, whatever. Um, she then goes on to the show to be with the host and kind of like find her man through that, like through the radio show, which I think is like kind of an interesting premise. Um, but then another thing that kind of shows you how she's a pick me is like, she gets asked what is her ideal date, and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. And she's like, oh, come on, you have to have, like, an idea. Like, what if someone wanted to take you to a historical reenactment? And she's like, And then so he's like, see, so you do have an idea, like, what you don't want to do. So, like, what is something that you want to do? And she kind of, like, kicks her feet, beats around a bush, like, tries to weasel her way out of it for, like, 2-3 pages. And finally she says, I think it would be nice to have a picnic. Her reason is, well, it'd be nice if someone, made stuff like for me from my preferences. That's the sort of date that I want, like someone who actually like, thinks about what I like to eat and like makes it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, a picnic. She presents this as like the most like significant, the most like secretive thing about herself, as if like no one else has ever had like a picnic date idea. And I'm like, okay, 77 fun date ideas to spark romance. Go out to dinner, see a movie, and I'm gonna do you even better. Have a picnic is at number 29. Okay, so I laughed out loud when I read this. I was like, this is the most basic thing you could ask for. Why are you treating it as if it's like some big secret? And here's another thing, like, she has this thing about being embarrassed. Okay, for the first 100 pages, she's like really hung up on the idea of like not being embarrassed or humiliated or made fun of. And Aiden, the love interest, even goes so far to say, "Oh, I wonder who made her feel this way," and we never get an answer. Okay, so this is what the author, hi BB, this is what the author writes as her character flaw, but it gets dropped after the first 100 pages. We don't see it again. She doesn't really grow out of it because it feels like she never really had a problem with it in the first place. She doesn't have any flaw whatsoever. And Aiden's flaw, let me tell you about Aiden's flaw. Aiden's flaw is that through his work as a DJ host, love advice giver, he has fallen out of love with love because a lot of people that call in are very petty and they have stupid stories, and he goes like, ugh, he rolls his eyes at them. And his biggest thing of why he doesn't want romance or love or to fall in love is because he saw how sad his dad was when his mother went through 2 rounds of chemo, had to go through chemo twice. And he saw how sad his dad was and heartbroken and whatever. And he was like, I never want to feel that sad about anything again. And if being in love makes that a possibility, then I don't want it. And I'm sure you're thinking, oh, well, I guess, yeah, like cancer is very traumatizing. Like it must suck to see a loved one go through that and like, see your other loved one be really sad about your loved one going through that. But like, let me tell you this. She's not dead. In fact, she feels so good right now. They're on like a retirement celebration trip. And also, she's not dead. In fact, the doctors are very optimistic that the cancer isn't going to come back anymore. So his trauma is kind of like extremely laughable because she's not dead. So his not dead mom traumatized him through making his dad sad that she's going through it. Like, wrap your head around that. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't to me. But anyway, that's his character flaw, which is like not a great flaw to have. Like, doesn't make sense, but at least it's a flaw. Lucy has no flaw. So if I were BK Borison's editor, I would have told her, stick to Aiden as your protagonist. Don't do a dual POV. It doesn't make sense here because she's perfect. She has a great support system. Her baby daddy and the husband literally lives next door to help her with the kid when she's out. Her other best friend lives right across the street. The people at her work are extremely supportive and don't care that she takes time off to go do a stupid radio show to help her dating chances. So I ask you this, why even have her be a narrative character at all if she has nothing bad go on? Nothing happens in her, like, story. Okay. And I'm gonna reiterate that nothing happens in this book, and by that I mean there's no consequences to anything. If something is introduced as a potential obstacle or consequence, it's immediately resolved or dropped within like the page, within that page that is introduced. One of the biggest examples I have for this is he asks her, when you first started the show, I thought some of your hesitation with dating might be because of a sordid story with Maya's dad. I laugh. Oh no, nothing like that. Grayson's my best friend. Then why didn't you two marry? And she says, well, he offered to marry me when I found out I was pregnant. It was what our parents demanded, but I said no. By the way, so her first time ever having sex, she got pregnant and she had sex with Grayson for some reason, even though they didn't like each other like that. We are not told why they had sex. Like, they effed, okay? And then they just had a kid. Anyway, so she said, I don't want to get married. I don't want to ruin his chance of finding his big love. I wanted to have that chance too, not that it's done me a lot of good. And he's like, has that been hard for you? What, Grace and Mateo, baby daddy and the husband? No, sometimes I get envious of what they have, but no, I love the family we've made. Maya has 2 great dads, and I have 2 best friends to make sure I never get too lonely. So this story would work if she had none of that. If her daughter was estranged because she's like, I don't know my dad and I want a dad and whatever. And she had a terrible relationship with her baby daddy. Maybe he's completely absent from the story. She has no support system. She's a single mother working a dead end waitress job, with nothing going for her, and she's like, God, I'm so tired all the time from working. I wish someone could be here to help me and support me in some kind of way. And maybe that comes in the form of a romantic partner, maybe it doesn't, but it would work if she had that. But I think this author is genuinely allergic to making her characters suffer anything or go through anything bad. Point in case, let me read you the rest of this page. She's like, were your parents unhappy that you didn't get married? Furious. I haven't spoken to them in almost 12 years because of it. They cut me off when I refused to marry Grayson or agree to an adoption for Maya. I really wanted her. I had been so afraid these early months, absolutely terrified of what we do. My parents thought it was a slight against them. And Grayson's parents the same. When we didn't do what they wanted, they pretended we didn't exist, left our things on our respective front porches without so much as a note. So they got kicked out of their homes. Anyway, we're lucky Grayson's great aunt Tabitha wanted to stick it to his parents. She kept us on our feet financially too. We were able to piece it all together. So they got kicked out, immediately get taken in by some rich great aunt. No struggle yet, by the way, no struggle. And then moving on, so she lost her family, but she gained a family through Grayson and Mateo, the husband, and like, everyone else. And then, hi baby. And Grayson also got to reconcile with 2 of his siblings over the years, so he's totally fine too. Maya is surrounded with a lot of love. Like, all of that is just so positive and happy, and that's good for her. But again, why is she then looking for a romantic partner or like, you know, husband or whatever if like there's no hole that it's not gonna like make her life any better. Like her life is already really good. And she's never like gave a reason as to why she wants a romantic partner. So I can't like I don't know what she serves in the story. She is supposed to be the solution to Aiden's problem. Aiden is not going to be her like a solution to her problems because she has no problems, right? Anyway, there's more like examples like this is probably just the most grievous one. But it just like if I were to teach someone how to write, I'd be like, do not do whatever the heck this book is doing because it's boring and nothing happens. So I think honestly that's all I have to say about this book. Like there's so much that I don't like. There was just like little tiny things, I guess. It's like it's supposedly a rom-com, but it's not even funny. So I guess that's that. Okay, like and subscribe. Crazy that people like this book when it's so bad.